All right, we are back. I have found out that there's some energy out in the world that's happening right now, and it must have just done a ping to my network here because we went down for a minute. But we're back. Thank you for hanging around. If you've been able to hang around with us, we're actually going to take the two videos and put them together because we are here in the Permission Movement Experience with me, your host, Phelan Hawkins, and Desiree Dubois. And I won't go into a lot more about who Desiree is, but I do want you to know that this is a woman who now mentors 6 and 7 figure business owners, and what she's bringing to the world in a much bigger space for herself is just a tremendous contribution to what we're all able to partake of. And I want to talk a little bit about the new mobile magazine. I know we kind of got into a question. I don't even remember what it was. So as I go back and look at the video, however, I do recall we got enough into it where I think people can kind of glean the real meaning from it. Because I don't want to waste any more time, I really want to get into what inspired you to launch a global web magazine called Let's Talk Success.
Well, we realize again that the messages that we're sharing locally, that we share in person at our meetings as well as we share within our community, are really, really valuable. But there's now with the technology, we can share that same message worldwide. And the reason why we compiled it or composed it as a magazine, because that seems like perhaps maybe have a little bit more interest to people. We're keeping it really simple. We call it a mag because it is short. And we feature one woman who achieved the 7-figure mark, and they share their stories, their challenges, their victories, and their secrets to success. And we accomplish different mediums. We have the video there, so you can actually film them in their homes, somewhat modeled after the lifestyles of the rich and famous, because we're curious to see how they do live and how they do some really elaborate mansions and some very, what the millionaire next door type, so what their values are, but it's just kind of gives us an up close and personal opportunity to see them. We also have it written, the description and bios on them and information, and as well as the radio show, podcast. Because some people like to listen, some people like to read, some people like to see, and then we actually had a live event that we did as a launch where they were able to get together, but enables us to be able to share now all that and throughout the world, because even when it reads, it can just simply click share and share with their friends. People that want to save it, they can save it in an archive and then go back to it over and over again. As there's some calls to action, they can actually click and respond to maybe a free offer, free subscription, free sample, free consultation, whatever the case may be. We just really wanted to be able to focus it on let's talking about success, what it took to get them there, what happened when they were there, and then those who have exited it, for their businesses, what their life looks like right now. And the fact that it's global, we have reached out to influencers like yourself. We created a board of influencers, which we thought was really ingenious because people want to be a part of it in a board. And I think we're the first. I would venture to say we're the first that created a board of influencers. And those were powerful people like yourself that had influence over community and that was still designed for the mission of being able to empower them through the education, motivation, and just creating that community. And they, in exchange for us communicating and promoting them, they're promoting the magazine. It's a free magazine, so this gives them another gift to be able to offer their audiences. And again, we have 11 different countries, organizations in all different countries, and we're growing daily. And this is our first edition, and next one, we're really excited about the young lady. I won't tell you who it is, but fascinating woman, so stay tuned.
I love the fact that you talked about that it was their story that really was, their shero's journey. One of the things that I talk about in the Permission Movement Experience and the book, actually, Permission to be Powerful, it is the story. 20 women entrepreneurs talking about their shero's journey that's taken them from wherever, even some talk about from childhood and the things they experienced in childhood all the way through today where they feel so empowered and powerful in doing their business and making their mark in the world. And the stories that are going to be shared in the mag are just amazing. I've had the fortunate opportunity to hear some of the behind the scenes and see some of the behind the scenes. You've got an amazing team. And to be a part as one of the board of influencers, I have to say that it's truly an honor for me to participate in that as well, because you've got people like Bernie Dorman, the creator of CEO Space. You've got Gail Watson, the co-founder of the Women Speakers Association and president. And Gail is actually going to be on the Permission Movement experience as well. She's going to have a training session. You've got some amazing people who have, are supporting you in getting the message out, especially for women entrepreneurs, about the potential, the infinite potential and the infinite possibilities that surround what it is that we're desiring to do in the world. And just give us a little flavor of what some of the seven-figure women businesses look like that you've helped and been exposed to. Are they
They
doctors and lawyers? I mean, give us some ideas about what those seven-figure businesses look like.
It varies. It's really surprising because I never thought that insurance business. One of our ladies, she has a $50 million insurance broker. So I just never thought that was capable in that type of industry. Someone that has a termite pest control industry, pest control company. Pest control, how do you create seven figures? I think hers is about $35 million. One is the communication industry. And you can find them on our website as well. Communications, which is, she was one of the first large PR in California, women-owned in California. So she, I think is, she said she was a $120 million business. One of them is, so we've got people that have staffing industries. Staffing seems to be the number one, and for millionaires, believe it or not. It's again, I never knew how they would create millions of dollars, and especially $100 million for a staffing agency. Or even there's one young lady that created, I think, almost $1 billion in her staffing agency. Act One. It's a huge.
Yes, I've
and
heard
so
of
it's just really, for one of them, has a shoe product, foot pedals. We know some of the other ones like Spanx and so forth, but it's really surprising me. I believe from communicating with all these ladies that any business that you're in, if you have a right mentor or some advice that show you how to scale it, any business can be scaled to $1 million business. Like we have coaches. One of them was our Power 7 graduate who is now a multi-million-dollar coach, and she goes all over the world coaching, and it's just basically on your feminine power. So I think anything that you have, and you say, this is what I want to accomplish with it, get someone professional that's been there, again, been there and done that, not from your friends, been there and done that, and show them, how do you scale this? How do I take my business idea? How do I scale it to make it $1 million business? And from there, once you reach your first million, you can go to your second million, and it goes from there. I think one of the interviews, Patty D. Dominic said that she started $1 million a year, then it was $1 million a month, then it was $1 million a week, then it was $1 million a day. So once you hit certain thresholds, this kind of escalates from that point on, because you've got the system down. It's just a matter of expanding to grow within it. But I've heard from, again, coaching, from CDs, information, from products to services, something brand new, something repurposing. You don't have to sometimes create something brand new. Just take something that's existent now, and that maybe you can put a twist on it, or find a new market for it, or a new niche for it, or a new packaging for it. Something just as simple as that can create a whole new market. And if you look around, you'll see that it's all in action.
That's fabulous. One of the things that I've had a couple women to kind of work through as I was working through them has been around the whole concept of, if I can scale up to $1 million a year, oh my God, that alone is, what's my money set point kind of question comes up. And then to think beyond that, would you like to grow to $1 million a month, $1 million a week? And how have some of the women that you've worked with dealt with looking at the scale at, from, you know, even if it's a $100,000 a year this year that might turn into 500,000 next year and $1 million the following year, you know, you could constantly doubling that income. Have some of the women that you've worked with had any issues with really coming into alignment with that growth, that type of growth from the concept of money and their relationship with money?
You know, it's so interesting that you mentioned. I want to also point out that many of them will say that that $1 million mark was a 5 year, 10 year, you know, wasn't an overnight success. As you know, overnight their bank account went from 1 point to the $1 million mark, but the process was years, you know, and many times it was. I mean, obviously there's those, you know, wonders that just come in and take over the market, but most of it is the process that takes there. I now also want to point out, acknowledge your point that it's a gradual process. If you be realistic with yourself, you know, so if you're not making, you know, $20,000 a year, do not say next year I want to make $1 million. $1 million is still not a lot of money, and it still is possible, but just be gentle with yourself as far as building that foundation. Because many times, if you were, many of the stories that if you do go from $20,000 to $1 million next year, many times you're not prepared to handle that business. You don't, if you had a contract coming in, you'd lose it because you don't have the staff, you don't have the productivity, you don't have what it takes to generate that, unless you just have one client paying you that one sum of money for one act. And then that's very scary, because if you have your $1 million or whatever your income is generated based on one or two or four or six clients, anytime one of those clients, you know, decide to withdraw or something happens to them, then your whole, you know, financial structure, you know, kind of changes, let's put it that way. So it's good to build a foundation just like anything else. If you're building a house, you can have great lights, you can have great windows, you can have all that great stuff. But if you don't have a good foundation, it's just not going to work. So do it in gradually. So get a good foundation, be able to make sure that you have your team, a legal, accounting, good, you know, assistant, and just your team, your basic team together. And then get set marks. I say maybe I'll make, even if $100,000 in 6 months, maybe it's $200,000 in that year. And then you usually can be able to double it from that. You know, but be realistic, build your foundation, and then do it gradually. But you can do it, and just being able to be conscious on that. And the reason, as far as the mindset, the only thing you really need to ask yourself is, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not you? When you see the interviews of these ladies, they are no different. Patty Dynamic had her first child at 18 years old, my second one at 20 years old. So many times people say, oh, well, I can't be successful because I've had, you know, I started off, you know, my early life was, you know, burdened with that responsibility, but yet she still accomplished her goal for $100 million. Okay, there's a lot of women that have been, from the young lady that's featured this month, their family was so poor that any given time, her mother would say, okay, everybody pack up. And they would get all their belongings in the middle of the sheet on their bed and tie the four corners, and they'd be leaving in the night because they couldn't pay rent. And that happened over and over and over again. So they had it to a science where she knew exactly what to put into the middle of the sheet, tied the ends of it, and that was her baggage. And every child had the same thing. That's what they left with. And she was in over 12 schools. Her and her sister stopped counting schools when they reached 12. So, and yet she had a business that she went from stilettos to the stock exchange. So you see these women doing it, and that's why I want you to see them up close and personal. I want you to see their mannerisms, see they're no different than you. So why not you? Why not? If it's what you desire, and it's not, maybe people say, I don't really need $1 million, my life is fine, whatever. It's not so much what you need, but that $1 million or more allows you to be able to give more, to do more, and to be more. And that's all it is. So it's not all about you. It's not what you need. What about what the world needs? They need you in a bigger way. And you're able to do that if you have the money to do it. So why not? If you're going to work every day, you're going to get up and you know, shrug at it. Why not get the most that's available to you? Why not?
And it's possible. I love that. You said so many things that just made my heart jump. Because, you know, the money is one thing, but it is not the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I started in my own business, my first goal was I just want to make $1 million. I had my plan laid out. I knew how to grow the business, and in the midst of it, God decided that I needed some lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was being introduced to the works of Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn talked about his story. and his story of wanting to become a millionaire and talking to his mentor. And his mentor asked him, how much money do you have in your bank? He's like, $10. How much money do you have in your pocket? He's like, $2. And he was like, Jim, it's really great that you have this goal to be a millionaire, because I see it in your heart that you will do all of the right things with that. There's so many people out here that I know that you will be able to help being a millionaire. He said, but take a step back. Be a millionaire not for the money, but for who you will become. And when that kind of sunk in, I said, okay, I know what it is. And for me, it really has been a beautiful journey of, going around the mountain a couple of times here and, ups and downs. And yet right now, I probably am in the best place I have ever been, because I have really found the business for me. And I want women to know too that, we're talking about masterminds, we're talking about your contribution into masterminds, and your contribution is you, but also don't tune out the messages that you are evolving into, not just the woman that you were born to be, but your business is evolving as well. And I've seen some women who've started in masterminds who kind of went through the process and said, you know what, I love the thought of this at first, but this is not me. And now I know what it is that I want to do, where it is that I want to go, and with their heart involved in it, it really has become something else. And I know I experienced that, which is one of the reasons why I've really emerged into the P3 Academy of Social Entrepreneurship, teaching entrepreneurs the concept of social entrepreneurship and how they can tap into doing more business with a more socially conscious approach. And I think that in itself taught me a great lesson about emerging into, again, who we are to be as women and what our businesses truly can be designed to be to support our heart's desires. How many women have you actually encountered who have gone through that emergence, that started someplace and really ended up tweaking what it was that they did and brought to the world in order to bring it at that higher level we talked about?
I think everybody does that. I think, especially for the women, I think we are just, creatures of change. I think that we find our way. When we watch our children, rather, when they go to school, they're going to be, you just watch a child. When he's 5 years old, he's going to be this when he grows up. When he's 15 years old, he's going to be this when he grows up. When he goes to college, he's going to be this first year, second year, third year. I mean, it takes a while to find your way. And I believe that experience is the best teacher. So many times it's not until you experience something that it teaches you whether it's fit for you, whether you resonate with it, whether it gives you that fulfilling, whether just you have to experience it. So sometimes, but the biggest thing is that those who have not accepted or can adapt to change, they get into something and for whatever reason it's not working. And I know that's a hard thing to determine whether it's working or not working, whether you're quitting before the 3 feet from gold or not. So that you have to bring in, again, your mastermind or your mentors to be able to assess that with you, because you're personally feeling something where the world may say something different. But when you realize that something is not working or you're ready to grow, I mean, we should be growing, then you take it to the next level. And so that's just part of the process. I mean, our membership is for Empowered Woman is not what today is not what it was 8 years ago. Before it was like we had every second Sunday we had a meeting and we had a lot more live events. Now we're gradually doing a big event a year, and that's the first one, January, and the rest of it's going to be digital. We're going to go in different countries and different cities and be there. So, and last year was that year that I said to myself, okay, my life has changed. I'm an empty nester, I've moved, my dog is gone, and I have no liabilities. Now I want to travel more. I used to travel a lot, I want to travel more. So what can I take from my business that I enjoy, and I can still now incorporate that part that brings me that level of joy? And so that's just part of the process. And don't be resistant to it. If the numbers still work, if the mission still is valid. I mean, our whole mission with this with the Let's Talk Success is to be able to provide more educational motivation programming for women professionals and entrepreneurs. There are not enough valuable role models of successful women on TV. So we can start with YouTube. That's a vehicle that's available to us until we're fortunate enough to be picked up by a larger company or network or something even bigger and better. But we can start that message at that level, and we can show the younger generation, women behind us, or the women that do not know that it's possible. We can let them see what's possible, and that's that's the real heart behind this project. Let's Talk Success, is to get that conversation open to everybody at all different levels, with hopes that they'll follow the choice. But it's constant. Change is constant. You grow. If you're lucky, you'll grow. If you
Yes.
don't grow, you're not. It's not to your not to your advantage.
That is so true. Wow, what a great conversation, Desiree. Thank you so much to have gone through the whole concept around masterminding and then take it to such a deep yet high level. It's just been amazing. I so appreciate you for being here today, and I know that you have a gift for all of our audience. And you want to tell a little bit about it?
Yes, our gift is that we have a complimentary subscription to the Let's Talk Success magazine. All they have to do is go to anempoweredwoman.com, and there's right there on the homepage to sign up for their free subscription. It'll be free subscription every month. They'll be able to see it and access it on their iPads, their iPhones, as well as it goes into their inbox. That's Let's Talk Success, or they can go to An Empowered Woman rather, and that's ANEMPOWEREDWOMAN.com, AnempoweredWoman.com. Feel free to reach out to us, and we'd love to give you the complimentary magazine. And for those who
Well,
want more information, we'll take it from there.
well, there is even more because getting a subscription to An Empowered Woman, if you put in parentheses behind your last name PME, so that Desiree will know that you were a part of the Permission Movement Experience audience, you're going to get two special bonuses. One is you can ask for a complimentary session to see about joining Desiree's new mastermind group. And the second is that you will also receive a special bonus from me to do a strategy session around social entrepreneurship. If you are interested in helping to support a nonprofit organization, much like what we're doing with the Permission Movement Experience, I want you to be able to and be supported in making that connection. And one of the things that we are doing is for every two, we are selling the digital packages for the Permission Movement Experience. We basically have made it a no-cost investment. The cost is $147, but PayPal's got this new thing going where if you sign up today, you have 6 months, no payments, no interest. As long as you pay it off before the end of the 6 months, it's up to you. Now, we've also got another way that is truly amazing for you to be able to contribute to purchasing a digital package. And the second option is $10 down and $77 a month for 2 months. Or, of course, we'll always accept your full payment of $147. Now, what that does, I have to explain this to you because this is so amazing. What that does is for every 2 digital packages purchased, one nonprofit organization gets a complimentary digital package. And they get the benefit of every one of these videos that have been put together around the theme of story, write a new story. And we're talking about, these are nonprofit organizations that support girls and women, girls who are aging out of foster care, who are looking at, okay, I'm on my own, now what? Girls who are transitioning out of juvenile detention, and they're either going back to the home environment that allowed them to get in trouble, or they're on their own. Again, what does life look for me? What's my future going to look like? We're talking about women who are transitioning out of the prison system, who are saying, I have to go back to my family and in the environment that I came out of that got me in prison or into a halfway house. And I don't know about you, but the concept of a halfway house, does that make most women feel as though they're half a woman? Half of their life is gone maybe, and it's like, kind of like, what is their incentive for going on to do bigger and better things and contributing in a different way to society and having what life has, the good things that life has to offer them. These are the nonprofit organizations that we're reaching out to. We're going to organizations that support abused women who have fled with children, fled for their lives, who are thinking, I'm not worthy, or maybe I was only worthy of that. My kids are not, but maybe that's, no, no. We want to help these girls and women to really understand the elements of their story, utilize their story to take them to the next level in their lives. It's truly a step up, and we're asking for your assistance to do that. So go today and purchase your copy of a digital package and contribute to what we are trying to do to help these women and girls. And the other side of it is we've developed a study group. The outreach program that I talked about is a study group. Small groups of girls and women will actually study the Permission to Be Powerful book, and each co-author was tasked with bringing a tool, a strategy that they used in their Shiro's journey and incorporate it into their chapter. The study guide is going to bring it out so that these girls and women now have another tool in their life skills toolbox, that as they're moving forward in their lives, maybe they want to become business owners, maybe they'll use some of the techniques in order to make it to the next level. These girls and women and these nonprofit organizations that we've aligned with are actually going to benefit in such a tremendous way. And we would love for you to join in that with us by purchasing your copy. And I have to tell you that the bonuses that come with this purchase for you are amazing. Um, 30 days access to Tech Shack. And if you are someone who's looking at increasing your technical ability, whether it be designing or updating your own WordPress website, we've got things like that for you. An Empowered Women, the subscription for no cost. I mean, there's so many things, and I want you to go to permissionmovement.org. And in the top right-hand corner, you will see PM Experience. Go there. Sign up today. Get involved. Be a part of what's happening going forward. We've got so much more. Women in business are looking at, how can I increase business? Well, one of the things is learning how to utilize the internet network to drive traffic, bring traffic, attract traffic to you. And we're going to help you do that too, because our next presenter is a web genius, a traffic master named Jack Humphrey, and he's going to be our guest. Beyond that, we have got Natalie Ledwell, who's going to talk about own it, tell it. We're going to have Gail Watson. We're going to have so many others, and you'll be able to see that information at the website as well. So join us. Thank you today for hanging in there with us through our technical challenges. I love you. Desiree, thank you for being here with me today. My heart goes out to you. I love you. I love what you're doing with an Empowered Woman in Let's Talk Success. I'm so grateful to be able to be involved in that. And so, is there a parting thought that you'd like to leave with our audience today?
Thank you. Yes, I would like to remind everybody that's listening that do not let anyone or anything dim the light that shines within. And until we meet again, stay empowered.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of our audience today. Thank you to all of the supporters of the Permission Movement experience. My name is V. Lynn Hawkins. Our guest today has been Desiree Doubrox, an empowered woman and the magazine publisher of Let's Talk Success. And we're going to leave you now, but we'll be back on Monday, every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for a few more weeks now. So do join us. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.